Dear parents, I am Sarah Fong, HOD English at Suchin Primary. I would like to share with you the requirements for English language at PSLE. For Standard English, there are 4 components. Paper 1 comprises situational writing and continuous writing. Paper 2 is language use and comprehension. Paper 3 is listening comprehension, and Paper 4 is oral communication. The requirements for the different components are taught in class. The same components apply to Foundation English. I will be going through the key points for each component, starting with Paper 1. For situational writing, students will be required to write a short functional piece, such as an email, to suit the purpose, audience, and context of a given situation. This is an example of a situational writing task. The purpose for writing the email is to inform the cousin about a promotion. And because the email is for someone whom the writer knows personally, the context is that of an informal one. This is the mark scheme for situational writing. Marks are awarded for task fulfillment and language, organization, and context. To get a good score for situational writing, one's response needs to show an understanding of purpose, audience, and context, and includes all required information. Language also needs to be accurate and ideas presented clearly. Paper 1 also includes continuous writing. For Standard English, students are to write a composition of at least 150 words based on a given topic. 3 pictures are given to provide ideas for the topic. For Foundation English, students are to write a composition of at least 120 words based on a series of pictures given. This is an example of a continuous writing question for Standard English. Students have to interpret the topic correctly and make use of at least one of the pictures to write about the topic. They need to develop the ideas and use vocabulary effectively. This is the example for Foundation English. Students have to interpret the situation correctly and include helping words provided. They need to develop the ideas and use vocabulary effectively. They also have to suggest an appropriate ending to the story. This is the mark scheme for continuous writing. Marks are awarded for content and language and organization. A good piece of composition includes ideas that are relevant and developed. The story also needs to engage the reader effectively. We shall now move on to Paper 2, where students are assessed on their ability to use language correctly and to comprehend information. These are the components for Standard English Paper 2, Booklet A. These are the components for Booklet B. Next are the components for Foundation English Booklet A. These are the components for Booklet B. This is an example of comprehension close where students have to fill in the blanks with a suitable word. They have been taught to read the passage first to understand the context, after which they look out for contextual clues to suggest appropriate answers. The last step is to read the passage again to check that the answers make sense. These are the skills required of students for comprehension close. Firstly, they need to comprehend the text, after which they need to have a variety of vocabulary to choose from when deciding on their answers. Grammar knowledge on the word class of the answer required will help as well. Next are some examples for synthesis and transformation. Students need to rewrite the given sentence or sentences using the word or words provided. They need to ensure there is no change in meaning when the two sentences are combined. The tenses, punctuation, and spelling of the words must be correct too. Next is an example of comprehension open-ended. Students have to skim through the text to get a general idea first. After that, they scan the text for specific information to answer the questions. An inferential question is provided for your reference. These are the skills required of students for comprehension open-ended. They are understanding the text using annotation, identifying main details and sequence of events. Students need to be able to differentiate fact from opinion and justify with reasons. They need to know the meaning of words in context and be able to predict the development of the text. These are some common mistakes observed of students for paper 2. They are not as able to differentiate the forms of a verb and word classes. They tend to not check their answers against the text given. They also tend to make careless spelling or transference errors. They are not careful when they express answers to comprehension in their own words. Sometimes they write long answers that do not answer the questions. Next, we move on to paper 3 listening comprehension that comprises 20 multiple choice questions. It is a test of students' ability to understand spoken text. Last but not least, let us look at paper 4 oral communication. It comprises reading aloud, which assesses students' ability to read clearly and fluently. It also includes stimulus-based conversation, which is about students' ability to engage in a conversation on a topic. Here is an example of a stimulus-based conversation. These are some prompts that students will be asked by the oral examiner. The next 2 slides aim to share some ways in which parents may support their children. For reading, encourage your child to read a variety of reading materials. Select books which are more challenging as your child becomes more independent in reading. Your child may build a list of vocabulary by writing it down in a notebook that he or she can refer to when writing. Try to have conversations with your child on the books that he or she is reading. This will show your child that you're interested in their learning and will encourage them to read more. For speaking, listening, and writing, discuss the latest news with your child and encourage your child to share his or her opinions on current affairs. Also, Encourage your child to listen to a wide variety of spoken and audio text. Do also encourage your child to read model compositions and highlight useful words and phrases. Provide opportunities for your child to practice writing, regardless of the length of writing. Remember that language skills take time to develop and cannot be learned overnight. Therefore, it is important for students to persevere as they develop and practice their language skills. Let us support them in this journey as much as we can. I have come to the end of my sharing. For further queries, do consult your child's English teacher. Thank you, parents, for your time and attention.